Greetings, this is Scholar Saunders seeing What's Current. As you can see, I have my cover, my Marine Corps, U.S. Marine Corps, Semper Fi, tradition since 1775. Okay. And Rick James, just to let you know off the top, not late. I'm right on time. It's 4 o'clock. It's right after 4, a little after 4 o'clock. So I'm right on time. Late would be 6 or 7 o'clock at night. But I just want to take this time to say remembrance to all those fallen American personnel from the embassy that was also in April, a few months ago, in the spring, that was bombed, and a Marine was killed then, and along with I think about 82 others. And then, of course, if you haven't heard, if you've never heard of, if you've never witnessed, if you never realized the bombings of the Marine Barracks in Beirut in 1983, exactly 40 years ago today, it was a Sunday. Much like any other Sunday, they let the Marines sleep in. They had their M16s, but they didn't have any magazines, or if they had magazines, they were not full of ammunition. But so they slept. And then a yellow Mercedes-Benz truck with, I think, at least a ton or maybe 2 tons of explosives detonated, and it caused the largest detonation by a non-nuclear powered weapon to ever explode in all of history. And we don't talk about it. We don't talk about the fact that over 200 servicemen perished, had their lives stolen from them in this attack. And what did they call them? What did they call these Marines? They called them peacekeepers. They said they came in peace. Well, the sad part is that they left in pieces. That's how disgusting this is. That's how evil and vicious this whole 40 years have been. We've seen so many different terrorist attacks on United States military, on civilians, and our allies. And we're now embroiled in a new conflict against Israel. And it has, the aftertaste of what happened in 1983. No, Rick James, wasn't the Oppenheimer bomb. That's a nuclear bomb. This was a non-nuclear bomb. I said non-nuclear. And it was the largest loss of life for Marines since Iwo Jima in World War II, and in a single day. I could go on with facts and stacks and figures, but I just want to be pissed off right now, because whenever I think about events like this, it just really angers me to the point where I have almost a fit. But I reserve myself, and I retain myself, and I keep myself therapeutic by having these videos, because when people have money, they give it to me, and I'm already at 2 people viewing and 4 likes. So this is a good sign, because I really want to explain what really is happening now to this day and what happened in the past 40 years. You got different. I'll just give you a rundown of what we've had emanating from the Middle East. The terrorist organizations and things like that. And the reason why we have an idea about terrorism is because of a false ideal. Like I've just explained before, I had on my uniform the GWAT. We call it a GWAT for short. It's Global War on Terrorism Medal. It's a very easy thing to get. You only get you get it with time served. You basically get it when you're in the fleet, when you graduate from MOS school. You don't have to really necessarily earn it, like it's not like the Medal of Honor or something like that, or it's not like the Purple Heart. Even you know something happened to you, you sustained an injury or illness. No, you just had time and grade, and you get it, and it means nothing, because it's like the great Dr. Jerome Brooks said, there are no you know, real reasons for a war on terrorism. Because why is there no war on, World War II, kamikaze pilots or German Panzer tanks? Why don't we have those? Why didn't we have those? I mean, it just pisses me off to no end, because this day is hardly remembered. It's scantily talked about. I mean, we also should, like I said, I brought up about the embassy in April, but there were also other attacks that occurred after the bombing in Lebanon. And what did America do? We got right out of there. But because we shouldn't have been there in the first place. Peacekeepers. That's a sad, sick, twisted kind of idea for a Marine, especially. I don't remember. Maybe somebody else has better training than I. But I just can't. I forget the day we woke up and said, you know what? We're going to be peacekeepers today. We're just going to give out candy and, wave to the people and, just keep the peace. I don't remember that. I remember going to the rifle range and putting rounds down range and hitting targets. I remember using McMap and fighting, training to fight. I remember those days. I don't remember the peacekeeping missions. Maybe we stopped that, but I think we kept going with it, as a matter of fact. And we don't know who the enemy is. We act like we don't know the enemy is anyway. We think it's one thing and it's actually another. Like I said, there's so many details that go into this. I've been studying for the past few weeks, and I kind of binged today, to be honest with you. Rick James is saying peace and violence don't equal, but this is the thing. This is the sad, ironic, and paradoxical idea of war. You have to fight in order to keep peace. That's the thing. They had terrible ideas, such as rules of engagement, where you don't fire unless they fire on you. Where does that make any sense? Did Japan bomb us first with nuclear weapons? No, they struck us first during Pearl Harbor. So it's peace through strength. I understand peace through strength. You have to show yourself to be strong, and you have to bomb hospitals. You have to bomb weapons factories. You have to bomb old folks' homes. You have to bomb armaments. All that has to come into play. Every piece of wear until you have victory. I've said this before. In World War II, we actually had POW in Japan. There were 12 service. Were they sacrifices? No. We had to achieve victory. That was the greater value. A sacrifice is when you choose to have a lesser value or a non-value. That is a sacrifice. Theirs wasn't a sacrifice. And same thing with the 40 years ago in the barracks bombings in Beirut. They did not sacrifice their lives. Their lives were stolen from them. Rick James says, if the hippie movement continued and the hippie communes continued, we would have been closer to world peace. That is a complete shambles. That is complete bullshit, sir. The hippies made it worse. The hippies are really about war, actually, because they would say, anybody that had weapons against them, oh, it's all about peace. Bang. Your peace. They had a piece in their hand, and you have peace because you're resting in peace. That's a hippie commune. That's their idea of peace around the world. If hippies ever had their way. No, I'm a Marine. I am somebody that defends my own selfish life, my own selfishness. That's what we are lacking. We appease. We have altruism. We have all these different things that go against us because we have the wrong philosophy. The right philosophy is, of course, of Ayn Rand, the school of objectivism. That teaches you to be self-interested, not a child, not someone that just says me, I, first. That's not it. It's self-interest rationally, who you are as a person, as an individual, as a rational human being. That's what this is about. And that's what this whole entire 40 years have been. Lockerbie, the First World Trade Center, the Combar Towers, the African Embassy, the U.S. Embassy in Africa, the USS Cole, 9/11, 2001, and so many more in between. And Israel has experienced dozens, if not scores, of different attacks before they were attacked this year, and that we care about. We automatically care about it because it's so much. Whenever it's so much, you care for this moment. Well, sadly, it'll just be out of the news cycle, just like what they did with Ukraine. It's like an oven. You put the stove, you turn the stove up, and you just put them on the back burner, and they let them simmer a little bit. But Israel's really hot. It's super hot right now. Oh my God! But in a few weeks, they're going to the back burner, and something crazy is going to happen in Russia or Ukraine, and that's going to be put on the front burner. That's what we have to contend with. We have to contend with our own ability to care. You may not do anything. You just have to care. You just have to give a goddamn. That's the whole point. And that's what I'm stressing in this video. 40 years of remembrance of those brave souls that were stolen from them. Their lives were stolen from them. That's a fact. Yeah, okay, Rick James. The hippies protested weapons in Vietnam, and I was there. He was there. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, protest all the weapons you want. But when the weapons come to you and you eliminate everybody in the commune, who has the peace? The people who mowed you down. They're really peaceful now because they killed you all. That's why I'm against pacifism. Pacifism is one of the worst evils to ever be concocted in human existence. Because you say, okay, we no weapons, let's not have weapons, and then the first nation, the first country, the first faction or group that comes to you with a gun, they're in the upper hand, and you're all peaceful and peace signs, and they got a gun in your face and they blow you away. Now where's the peace? Again, they're peaceful now, and you're resting in peace, like I just said. Rick James, okay, I'm entertaining him because I got time, but I'm still going on this remembrance. The gun was the worst invention of all time. It was led to nothing but pain. That's a false statement, sir. The gun, if anything, has prevented more pain, more suffering, and anything. It's bombs, all that armament, rockets, all these things that we use. These are tools. As long as they're using the proper, correct way by the proper, correct personnel, people, then that's a great thing. That's what the United States Marine Corps still stands for today. We're giving guns. We're giving M16s. We learn how to fire M240 Golfs and M249 assault weapons. We learn how to fire AT4s, anti-tank armament. That's our whole goal. It's to fight. It's peace through strength. You can't blame the tool. You can only blame the user, especially with what happens in America and across the world, but especially in America. Shooters, of mass shooters, you don't blame the AR-15 or the bump stock or anything like that. You don't blame the trigger or the rounds. You blame the person committing the crime. You can't blame the tool. Rational people have guns. The majority of the people who own guns in this country are rational, everyday citizens who know how to clean, maintain, and understand what their gun is about, or their arsenal of guns. I don't care. You could be, in the hood. You could be in the city with a whole mess of guns, and you know how to use them, you're not going to fight somebody against them unless they present themselves to be a target, even if they don't fire before. You can fire before them if they propose a target. That's the sickness behind rules of engagement. Rules of engagement is probably the most evil set of rules to ever come out of the U.S. military, and I bet it's in police forces as well. But rules of engagement says, you can't fire unless they fire on you. Oh no, you can't fire at that woman. You can't fire at that child. The child's got an AK-47 and it's trained at your face, but you can't fire at the child because it's a minor. It's a young person. But they're ready to shoot the fire because that's how easy AK-47 is. AK-47 can be fired with just a few, ages. You can be 3 or 4 years old and be able to fire AK-47. I think it's the same thing with an AR-15 too, but especially AK-47. AK-47s are probably the simplest weapon to fire in the world, according to reports. I've never fired an AK-47, only M16 and M240 Golf and M249 assault rifle, SAW. And the AT4. I fired a tracer round off of AT4, but during training, there was one female, not to just say, oh, it was a female, but she hit the target right on point with the AT4. She fired a live round and hit right on the training tank. We were like, woo, yeah, go get it, girl. That's about the only time you're going to hear me laugh during this whole excursion. But 40 years of appeasement, altruism, and cowardice. Altruism, appeasement, and cowardice. We've been cowards. We have to admit to it. We've acted as cowards. And it's not the fault of the United States Marine Corps, not even its leaders, not even the commandant. I'm talking about Congress. Yes, it is deep, Rick James. It's very deep. I'm serious today. I'm wearing all black. I got my Marine Corps cap on. Yes, I hope you all take note. Salute to you, Height, part of the 50 Club. I joined the 50 Club yesterday. I review. He definitely made it though. He made it. He has over $50 contributed to this machine, unlike Rick James, who contributed $0 to this machine. He's still waiting on his SS check. Damn shame. But like I said, we remember today. We remember yesterday, what happened yesterday, what happened 40 years ago today. But do we really learn from any of the things that have happened? All the terrorist attacks and everything? The fact that terrorism is just a tactic, not something that we have to go against. And why wasn't it, a war on terrorism on our own soil? We could have a civil war, can't we? Terry Nichols, Timothy McVeigh bombed the Oklahoma City building. Scores of people died. Others injured. Others wounded. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's plenty of American terrorists. I'm gonna try. Let me see. Can't remember her name. Trying to remember her name. I'm looking it up right now. Oh, of course, yeah. The Weather Underground. They do bombings in America, terrorist attacks. How come that was? What was the war on terrorism for the Weather Underground? trying to remember her name. I'm looking for it. Not finding it. I can't find it. I don't remember her name. Maybe you guys know her name. Who was that woman that was a terrorist? Patty Hearst. No, not Patty Hearst. Patty Hearst was a victim of Stockholm syndrome. I'm talking about a bomber. There was a female bomber. There was a woman bomber. I can't remember her name, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about Beirut, 1983, the bombing of the Marine Barracks. Not Kate Hamill. I don't think I never even heard Kate Hamill, to be honest. But yeah, so 40 years, and we're just like, going about our business. Like we do with everything. Like even with September 11, 2001. They do the names every year. They make sure they chime the bell when the first plane hit, when the second plane hit, when the tower fell, when the other tower fell. We do that. And I get that, and we should continue to do that. That's proper. Because that's remembrance of what happened. But the same thing doesn't happen for the Beirut bombing of the Marines. There's a memorial in North Carolina with a Marine, and he's looking over at the other, people that are. It's part of, I think, it's in a cemetery, but he's looking at other fallen warriors, and it's just that was a fitting memorial. It has all the names. It kind of looks like a white version of the Vietnam War memorial. You can etch, you can take a piece of paper or and a stencil and pencil and scratch the name in and put it on the paper, stuff like that. So it's just the appeasement of our leader, our presidents especially. They have no backbone, no spine, no balls. They just let anything and everything happen. They talk a good game. Oh, they talk. They run their mouth. George Bush was standing on a rubble after September 11, 2001, saying, they're going to hear from all of us soon, in his speech, that famous speech on the rubble. And that was great. Good job. That was a great, rousing speech. I think the people down there really needed that. They were working on what they called the pile. The people ingesting all those chemicals and different carcinogens. They needed to hear that. But they also needed a stronger leader who would actually go after the real enemy, when we still haven't gone after, which is Iran. The closest person I heard to say it was Iran was the late John McCain. He said it in the bomb Iran. We have got to fight Iran. I don't understand. There must be something way beyond my understanding and control. Way beyond. Because I don't understand how we haven't bombed the shit out of Iran. They are the source of all this. They are the hornet's nest. And then if we also must, we have to bomb Saudi Arabia too. If we must. We definitely have to bomb Iran. Because look, even before the bombing in 1983, 1979, we had quote unquote hostages. No, these are prisoners of war at the U.S. Embassy. And when Iranians, took over the U.S. Embassy and held hostages for 444 days. That was an embarrassment for President Jimmy Carter. A super embarrassment that will forever mark his legacy. And then you get Reagan in, and what does he do? Just continues the appeasement, continues the altruism. He shows a good face, and he has great speeches. We remember the men and women, the servicemen who, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, we remember the servicemen who died and those who were injured. And, okay, thank you. You remember them. But, what did you do? What did we do? We did nothing. Nothing happened. We didn't send any forces into Lebanon. We didn't bomb them. The Paris of the Middle East, they call it. We did nothing. We did a shit job. From what happened was a shit show. It was disgusting. Yeah, Argo. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. That was actually a pretty good movie. That was a good Ben Affleck movie. He still can't act that well, but he tried. I think he produced, and if not, I'll make 100% sure. Let me make it sure before I start saying stuff. Yeah, okay. Ben Affleck directed Argo, so I have to give it to him. I have to respect him because that movie won him his second Academy Award for producing. He won one for writing, and then won another one for producing that movie. So he should be definitely commended for that. He looking for. God, this is terrible. What the hell? Yeah. Okay. So he has Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay and an Academy Award for Best Picture for being a producer on the Best Picture. All right. So two Oscars credited Ben Affleck's name. Good for him. Now we have to talk about the fact that, with the remembrance of this day, what can we do to not have another Beirut bombing? What can we do to ensure that mothers, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties are not killed on American soil or abroad because of something stupid like some peacekeeping bullshit? That is such heinous, horrible horseshit. And it should be stopped. Peacekeeping doesn't do anything for anyone. What is peace? There's no reason, there's no definition of peacekeeping. Marines with their M16s without magazines. What's the point of that? There would have been a chance, a slight chance, that a Marine could have shot and killed the bomber before the truck detonated. But no. They got to shoot first. So they shot first, even though it was explosives first. And it exploded. The largest non-nuclear detonation in world history. And the most amount of Marine lives lost since Iwo Jima in one day. Yeah, okay. But it all comes down to the fact that we have to be stronger in our intellectual positioning. If we're not stronger in our thought and reasoning, we will have appeasement, altruism, and what I say? Altruism, appeasement, and cowardice. We have altruism, appeasement, and cowardice in all of our days as American citizens. Because the altruism says, oh, no. They got to shoot first. You can't have your weapon drawn. You can't have your M16 drawn. And then what do they call that? Oh, the Marines were disciplined. The Marines were what? How are they disciplined if they don't fire first? Let them fire first if they see a consistent, target. A consistent, someone's acting erratic, someone a muscle, twitches, a muzzle flashes. You should be able to fire it. And if they don't fire it, you fire on them. But no. We have to be unselfish. We have to be sacrificial. We have to be selfless. That's the disturbing part. That's all Congress. That's all Congress. It inculcates in recruits and candidates all this idealism about being selfish and selfless and unselfish. And in reality, they're not. Marines aren't selfless. They care about themselves a lot. I mean, there's a question, and there's a sense that it's narcissism. And especially any other of the branches, any American, any civilian, they're selfish because to a point. They're like, oh well, I have to be a little selfish here and there sometimes, a little bit here, kind of. No, I'm talking about full on blown complete selfishness, rational self-interest, doing what you know is proper to you according to your values, which you have obtained through your virtues. And your values are what you seek to gain and keep and use. That's the idea of values and virtues. We don't have that anywhere in our military. Not when I was in, and not now. I know it for a fact because the Congress hasn't changed anything. They're too worried about people, being non-binary or transsexual or anything like that. All these different issues that doesn't add up. They're still human beings. If they want to fight, let them fight. I don't care. What do you call them? What do you call a non-binary person in the officer ranks? Sam, Mur, I don't know. Whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter. If they want to fight and defend their own lives and respect and in addition, defend the nation, then that should be their prerogative. Who cares? We should care a hell of a lot more about the next terrorist attack that's going to happen. I call it duck, duck, goose for terrorism. Like they have the whack-a-mole for dictators. You hit one dictator down and another dictator pops up. Same thing happens with countries and duck, duck, goose. Who's going to get the terrorist attack next? Especially on the allies. Duck, duck, duck. September 11th, 2001, America. Duck, 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 goose. Israel, October 7th, 2023. And then we get in high mode. We have to go to we have to make up news reports and have whole packages and go there and see what's happening in different places. And again, the back burner, Ukraine, nobody's talking about Ukraine anymore. It's all about Israel, which is proper because there's a closer link to Israel with America than the Ukraine, even though Ukraine is an ally as well. But Israel is just a little bit closer. It's a little bit. Actually, a lot of it closer. A lot of it closer. So we have to, safeguard our own people and safeguard our allies. And the only way you can do that is to be selfish. You can't be self-sacrificial. You can't be altruistic. You can't be selfless, unselfish. You have to be selfish, egoistic. You have to be rational. You have to use reason. That's the only way we can win. That's the only way we can be victorious. And I see us being victorious in my lifetime. I probably have, I'm 35 now. I probably have a good 45 years left. Maybe 55 years. But for now, we have to start today. And it starts with Congress. It starts with legislation to get rid of all the bullshit they have in, military training. Unselfishness, self-sacrifice, selflessness. Because they're afraid that somebody's going to be in the moment and not be able to act. When it's the opposite. I talked about Corporal Jason Dunham. He leapt upon a grenade and nearly blew his brains out. The explosion was so severe that it caused severe injuries to him. He died a few days after being admitted to the hospital. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions. Now, are they afraid to say, like, I'm selfish, I'm not jumping on a grenade? Is that the case? Is that what people would do? I don't see that happening. I see people saying, I'm selfish. I care about my fellow Marines. If I happen to die because of this, oh well, too bad, so sad on my part. I do the right thing in my mind and in my life and not go for death, but go for life. Exactly. Rick James, good point. Listen to what Rick James says, great guys. You have no dollar attached to it. You have no dollar sign attached. So I'm not answering your question. But it's so severe, so sincere. We're just indoctrinated, hit over the head, over and over and over. Unselfishness, selflessness, sacrifice. That's all you hear. And for democracy, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Whatever bullshit we've been saying for the past few years about this being a democracy is just that. Complete and utter bullshit. This is a constitutional republic. We are based on two great pieces of writing: the Declaration of Independence, which is the most important political document in human history, and the Constitution, which is, a profound and utterly, untouchable document that's not perfect, but it's damn close. So when we have, days like today, for not remembering 40 years of the Beirut Marine Corps bombing, we have to remember that people had lives, and it's not just like the same thing with the Marines or parts of the military, or it's like with race especially. Oh, you're my brother because you're a Marine. Like, I'm not your brother, first of all. And just because we're Marines, I'll say you're my brother, but I should have the respect of just being a human being who has a darker shade of skin, just to be myself. That's the thing that people get confused about. But that's a different story. When you're in a position like you are in at the barracks, and you're digging out literally bodies and body parts, and some people are living and some people are dead, and just rubble and just chaos and just disgustingness everywhere. You have to have a mindset for selfishness. That's what it takes, is to be selfish, completely and utterly selfish, to concern yourself with your own well-being and the well-being of your values. The guy who doesn't jump on the helmet is selfless, which is evil, unselfish, evil. The guy who refuses or kicks or even worse, kicks the grenade towards his fellow combatants, his fellow warriors, that's unselfishness. That's sacrificial. That's selflessness. But you're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear that in the speeches. Their selflessness and their sacrifice was one thing that were two things that to them in their hour of need, or something like that. Whenever some politician or some, even a military, leader comes up, it was their unselfishness that shone through the most. And I'm just a small voice. I'm just a small voice. I think that's in the Fountainhead. I think it's Ellsworth Toohey's column, A Small Voice. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. Let me make sure. Because I'm reading it right now. Could be wrong. Yep, one small voice. That's what it's called. One small voice. I'm just one small voice. That's it. You've noticed, Greg S. Yes, I have to represent. You see that right there? I'm a United States Marine. I'm a Lance Corporal. Forever. I'm a terminal Lance. I can never, advance beyond that. I'm retired. Been retired for 14 years, and it's beautiful. Got a compensation got Social Security. I'm living a fat life. I'm living life well. I ain't got no boss to hang over me. I ain't got no bullshit office job. Fuck that. Oh, excuse me. It's the first time I said the F word on the show. Got a little excited. They got a laugh out of me at least, because I'm a little. That was a little bit. Exactly. I used to scrub toilets. I scrubbed toilet number 3. I scrubbed toilet number 3. That was my post. I scrubbed toilet number 3. That was my post in boot camp. I scrubbed toilet number 3. That was my job. That was my role. I wasn't mad. Hell, it was cool. But I got to get pissed off again. No, I'm not really mad. I just get a little bit of heat on me. I just get a little heated when I think about days like today. How it's almost like a sense of, completely carelessness. Just, it's another day. Too bad for them. Oh, they're sacrificial. They were selfless. Let them rest in peace. Oh, that's how we get. That's the way we treat our veterans. That's how we treat the fallen, the people that safeguard this country, but in their own minds are safeguarding their lives and their families. That's selfish, and that's proper, and that's rational, and that's good. That's a good thing to be selfish. If I haven't said it enough, I'll say it again and again and again, because you're not going to hear it from too many other people. You're not going to hear it from anybody, close to being in media. Very few people are going to say that. That sacrifice is a vice. That unselfishness is evil. That selflessness is corrupt. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. I don't care what president, going back to Jimmy Carter all the way up to now to Biden, they'll say the same speeches over and over, just chewing the same fat, the same cud. Sacrifice is good. Selfishness is evil. Oh my God. I'll get claps after that. I'll get enough applause after that. They'll say it over and over. It doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. They're on the same agenda. They're too afraid. This is where the cowardice comes in. Cowardice, appeasement, and altruism. They're too afraid to say what's really true, to say what's actually the facts, to say that there is no God, to say that there is no, reason that somebody should be able to take into their own lives and take control and responsibility over their own lives and say what needs to be said and then do the actions that need to be carried out, like flattening Iran and whatever places that need to flatten. I'm not a tactician. I'm not a, somebody that knows exactly how to do military targets, but I applaud, the military men who opted to bomb not only Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but Tokyo and Dresden. Tokyo in small fashion, Dresden in a pretty big fashion. There are some accounts that say that more people died in Dresden, Germany than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Some accounts. Some people will say that. But yeah, so I'm all about that. Have Iran, please, Iran, fall on my head. Fall on my head. I don't understand why you would say that, Greg ass. I think you're an ex-American. You're anti-American for even saying that. You're suggesting that Iran has some kind of moral high ground over America, which it doesn't. So you are probably an anti-American citizen. I'm saying it. You are an anti-American citizen, Greg ass. I'll talk spicy as hell as long as I want. Yes, he's completely anti-American. Completely anti-American. Iran is a completely basket case of a country. It is an evil, disgusting, disturbing, and horrible place to be. They kill people for being gay. They kill people for being journalists. They kill people for being women and wanting to show their hair. They literally have morality police. This is going to George Orwell's 1984 with morality police. That's how disgusting they are. I'm not being objective. Okay, so how am I not being objective? Please explain how I'm not being objective when it's a true fact that America has never, and it's not perfect, but it's never been a terrorist organization or country that has killed more people than pretty much any other nation in world history. Iran has been responsible for more death and destruction in places like Israel and parts of the Middle East and places in Europe than any other country probably combined. So just tell me how I'm not being objective. I'll wait. But anyway, this day of remembrance should be more than remembrance. It shouldn't be barbecues and different. It shouldn't be barbecues and mattress sales or anything like that. And it never will be, because it was just Marines, man. If it was civilians, or if it was veterans who died, like Memorial Day. Memorial Day is such a bizarre holiday. It is so weird. It is like the strangest time period in my life. I always question it. I don't know which way to go. I'm being completely honest. I want to say on one hand, respect those who've fallen. Their lives were taken from them. They were selfish. They were rational. They wanted to live, but sadly, somebody snuffed out their lives. And on the other hand, I'm like, let's have a barbecue. Let's have a good time. It's the beginning of the summer unofficially. Yeah, let's go. Let's go to the beach. Come on, let's go. Let's have a mattress sale. Let's have a car sale. I want that, but I'm like, the veterans died though. They're in graves right now, because that gives you this freedom. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I want to say they're given the freedom to give the barbecues and the mattress sales and the car sales and all things like that. It's like, if it weren't for them, they wouldn't be able to have their barbecues. And I hope they recognize it. Can they at least take a moment of silence for that day? I do. It's at 3:00 p.m. at the cemetery, at the veteran cemetery at 3:00. I'm silent. I at least observe that amount of time. Then it's back to the party. Yeah. I guess I really don't. Veterans Day is the day that makes the most sense to me that we observe, because I get a whole shitload of free stuff. They say they pat your back, thank you for your service, thank you for your support. You're a taxpayer, apparently. Veterans Day is celebratory. It's like Veterans Day sale, and you get free meals. You get discounts off of meals, and you get everything but alcohol. They don't they don't give you, from what I understand, and what most places give you, they don't give out alcohol, but they do give out free meals. Texas Roadhouse, Applebee's, a whole list of other places, Home Depot, Lowe's, Redner's, all these places. They're not my sponsors, by the way. They don't sponsor the show. I'm just giving them their props. But this isn't that kind of day. This is a day where I hope there's one or two people that in all of this that say, wow, that happened. I wasn't even born yet. Somebody, excuse me, I wasn't even born yet. I was born 5 years later. 4 years and change. And I care. I care about this day. I remember they did teach us this in Marine Corps training and boot camp. They did definitely do this. As part of our training, we learned about the Beirut bombing. We didn't learn about, I think they do it now. It's probably because of Obama, but we didn't learn about Montfort Point, which was the Marine Corps program for African American or foundational Black American Marines, and there's very little history on that. There's very little that's talked about with that. That's hardly discussed. But I think it's now part of the training period. I think they changed their standards a bit. 40 years though, 40 years of the Beirut bombing and for the United States Marines. 220 Marines died. 18 naval personnel died, and 3 soldiers died. And I think they added to the wall the people that died afterwards. So it's like in the 270s now. But that day was so evil, so vicious. Oh my God. Oh my God. 75 years? Wow. I thought you were in your 60s or 50s. You're 75 years old, Rick James. Rick James is 75, y'all. Just to let y'all know. He's in the chat. He's 75. Salute to you, sir. Salute. Salute you for your service, not for your ideas. You have some of the worst ideas I've ever encountered, but I salute you for your service. Not your sacrifice, not your selflessness, not all of that. If you can prove he's capping, Greg S, then I salute you, but I don't think you can prove if he's capping or not. I think you're capping. I think you're trying to derail my show, but you're not going to be in the rebroadcast, so it doesn't matter. Have your fun now. It's not going to show up later. So it's a hard win. It's a hard win, but we have to make the win, and we have to acknowledge and show people. Thank you. I just saw the money. Now we have to. All right. Let me see. $10. If you're still out there, Hike, thank you very much. $10 raised, $70 to go. I got broke ass niggas, allegedly. Rick James and Greg S. I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. I know they got money. It's beyond the SS checks and Greg S and waiting for, his EBT cards or whatever the hell it is. I know they got money. It's not, intending on spending it. That's all right. They can be. I'm not going to mute them. I'm not going to put them in the corner. I'm not going to, disbar them or put them in another position. They can be broke all they want. I'm still going to control. I still have people like my top 5: Spirit Smooth Tunes, J Tone, Chelsea with her glasses on, Baja. That's what I meant to do. I think I meant to say Baja Jackson. Baja Jackson. Just give me a second. Just trying to find out something. Just give me a moment. I don't know how Marcellus is doing. I really would like to know. You need $1 attached to that, but that's fine. Baja Jackson. That is it. I had to make sure I put on my top 5. Those are the ones I cherish and I appreciate the most. Top 5. They're the ones that give me the money to keep this show rolling, keep it popping, keep it hot, keep it real. I'm giving my passion. I think Spirit Smooth 2 is my favorite too because he's giving the most. But that was an error on my part. Height didn't give the $10, so it's still $0 raised, $80 to go. So I think the best part about all of this, if we can find some kind of silver lining, as the cliche goes, we can say that the Marine Corps is still strong, still rolling along well, swiftly, strong. I can say with fortitude. Semper fidelis, always faithful, and that's not a mystical, idea. Not faithful to God or even country or anything like that. It's faithful to your mind. It's faithful to your reason. It's faithful to values. It's faithful to virtues. Always faithful. Always. That's a key thing. Always. And that's why I like to say with days like this, I like to say always remember instead of never forget. Because it's a negative. Always remember is a positive. You're saying something that is good. James, you said Michelle. Her name is Chelsea. If that's who you're referring to, her name is Chelsea. I say Chelsea is my favorite because she's my only female in my 50. But Spirit Smooth is my only one with the most. I have to give my respect to the females who come in. So, if you have any idea of how to better spread this message, this video, because you're not going to find it anywhere else. Nobody's talking about it like I am. Nobody, not even Mr. Troy Star Terrain is going to talk about the remembrance of 40 years ago of the Marine Corps Barracks. And I respect that. It's nothing against him. I'm just saying that he's not going to. I just know it. This is a day of remembrance for all those who did not give their lives, but had their lives stolen from them. They wanted to live. They wanted to keep going. They didn't say, "Oh, well, life's going great, but I'm going to give it away." No, they did not give it. It was stolen from them. They had no choice. They were sleeping in their racks, and in the detonation, and it destroyed so many lives and limbs, and caused so much damage and destruction. But like I said, I think we would be much safer. We would be in much greater. Yeah, I know. I see it. 7 viewers. I know. It was up to 7 viewers for a little while. But yeah. So it's maintained around like 4. I got 4 likes. I'm looking for like 1,000 likes, 100 million likes. I'm looking for about 8 billion subscribers and 8 billion viewers. It's not gonna happen, but but a boy can dream. No, this day is special. This is a serious day. I make light of some pieces just to keep the comedic relief, but it's so profound and solemn and represents something beyond just a single day. It means something for the country, because this is the United States citizens. These are United States of America and its citizens that we're working with, Marines. And the majority was Marines. It was in their barracks. But of course, like I said, 18 sailors and 3 soldiers, Army soldiers, perished as well. And then more people have died since. So I think it's important to remember that in all the things we do, we have to remember what is honest, true, and real. And that is selfishness will always go against altruism, and capitalism will always go against altruism. Appeasement will stop once we have the backbone and the moral integrity to say no. And altruism, and cowardice will stop once we say that we will stand up to those who may do us harm. All right, so let me see. We got a good amount of time left. We can go for a good amount of time. This is the time where all the broke niggas, Rick James, Greg S, if you're still out there, whoever you are, you can ask questions now, and I'll probably answer them. Just remember today, United States Marine Corps, a tradition since 1775. Semper fidelis, and look at the back. Always a Marine, USMC. Any questions? I can talk all day. I can go on this. I have details. I didn't want to get into the details. Everybody nobody may know them, but I can tell you now. I can say how, like I said, in the embassy, the U.S. embassy was bombed in April of 1983. 83 people died. 83 personnel died. The different the different Marines on the ground said, it was cool to, what a peacekeeping mission meant to them, and they said, oh, it was all right, you get to wave at people and give out candy and everything like that, and they loved it. Oh, but they didn't love you exactly. But they had They had the commanders that came in. They had the commandant at the time, General Kelly. He had his role in the whole uh, brutal attacks. And I just want to know if we learned anything, because it's like I said, it's duck duck goose for terrorism. Duck duck goose. I mean, people are whispering World War III, World War III, World War III. And how's America going to factor in? We've already been through 2 horrible wars. We've already been through them. We've already been through 2 horrible wars that we did not win. We didn't win in Afghanistan. We completely bungled that. We didn't win in Iraq. They still hold their oil fields. So that's what the people that say, oh, for oil. What oil? We didn't earn it. We didn't win anything in terms of oil. And again, there has to be some kind of clue, something that I'm missing, something that I'm not seeing about Iran. Somebody tell me, why can't we just bomb the hell out of Iran? Why can't we do that? What is it that is stopping us? What is it that is saying, no, can't do Iran? Everybody else, Afghanistan, Iraq, we can go, send weapons is proper. Both situations are proper. But Iran, we can't touch Iran. Can't touch it. You can't touch this. You can't do anything with Iran. Can't do anything. That's the sad part. I don't understand why we haven't bombed Iran yet since 1979, when it really meant something. When there were not hostages, but prisoners of war. Why not? And Saudi Arabia too. Everybody's like, or not everybody, but some people are like, oh, but Saudi Arabia is our ally. Yeah, like Ike Turner was a great husband. That's how much of an ally Saudi Arabia is. Sure, we have diplomatic ties and They give us money and we give them money. It's a lot of underhanded dealings and wheeling and dealing and government issues and politics and geopolitics. But as it stands, we have to remember it was either 14 or 15 of the 19 hijackers that hijacked the planes that went into the World Trade Center and a field in Pennsylvania and the Pentagon were from where? I'll let you know. Saudi Arabia. How about that? No kidding. Is that a coincidence? Osama bin Laden born where? Saudi Arabia. How about that? No kidding. That's what I'm trying to say. Saudi Arabia and Iran, they have to go. Who was a better family member, Joe Jackson or Ike Turner? It's a good question, actually. I'll say Joe Jackson because he had more talent to deal with, and then the superstar talent, the megastar talent of Michael Jackson. So, I mean, I'm not advocating for abuse. I'm not saying that. A lot of people say, well, he whipped that boy into greatness. Well, he didn't have to. I'm great, and I've never been whipped or, beaten. Close to it by my mama. My dad never. But otherwise, it hasn't been a problem for me. What were your last two questions? Oh, here it goes. Was the U.S. just in bombing Hiroshima? Yes. What repercussions do you think it led to? It led to great trade, is what it led to. And how could it have all been avoided? It could have all been avoided if Japan didn't attack America on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Sunday, another Sunday. Another Sunday. People were sleeping in their barracks. People were sleeping in the ships, in the racks. And it says it killed more than 2,300 Americans. And the USS Arizona was completely destroyed, and the USS Oklahoma capsized. That's how I think. So hopefully I answer your other questions, Rick James. So for all the the different parts of our foreign policy, which is just a shambles and I would say a joke, but it's too serious and grim for that. Right now as I speak, people are plotting and scheming to do the worst to Americans all over the world right now. We're gonna have another date. We're gonna have more people saying, "Oh, if only, if what did our country do? What did what did we do?" That's the question they ask themselves. America must have did something. That's what people are like. Had to be them. Not some people saying my own family said hurt people hurt people. Well, they got hurt first. In this instance, Israel, Hamas is an evil, disgusting, disturbing group of savages and brutes. Do you feel for the innocent people lost in Hiroshima? Families lost, innocents lost. Nope. The blood is on the hands of the Japanese imperial forces. I do not feel anything for the grandmas, the mamas, the aunties, the uncles, the sisters, the cousins, the brothers, none of them. Because they have to blame their own government. And the families have to blame their own governments too. It's not on America's hands. It's not on the blood isn't on America's hands, it's on Japan's hands. For the exact reasons I said before, for December 7th, 1941. Now, if it was the other way around, then I would say, okay, that was America's fault, and the blood is definitely on the hands of the innocent. But I don't care about innocence, necessarily. I have to look that up. Thank you. Grave of the Fireflies. I'll look that up right now. I'll look that up right now. While I'm watching this movie, I don't really like. Okay, it seems interesting. I'll look it up further. It was the movie that movie that made me feel for the innocent lives lost in Hiroshima. Well, you shouldn't feel for the innocent lives in Hiroshima. I'll give you a link. Here's a link to a perfect understanding of lives and that are quote unquote innocent. Check that out. Check that link out. Put it a few times. You listen to that and you let me know if you agree or not. That's just the truth. Save that link. Save that link. It will help your life. Trust me. It will give you better perspective and more clarity and more value. Still got plenty of time. I got 20% more to go. It is such a heavy kind of day. I woke up and I was just like, damn, 40 years. I can't imagine what it was like because I wasn't there, but I can only imagine because of what September 11th was like. That was September 11th for Marines especially, but it should have been for Americans too. Oh, it was only 241. They'll be all right. They got machine guns, don't they? They're all right. Civilians. Oh my God! The towers. Oh, the Pentagon. Oh, the field in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people. Oh my God! Ah! And then weeks and weeks worth of ground zero footage. Months actually that took over. All I see was them taking out the rubble and trying to find stories that related to the attacks. Okay, if you're going off topic, I'm really gonna need money today, Rick James. No kidding right now. I really need money right now from you. If you're gonna go off topic, if you go off topic and you acknowledge that you go off topic, because I did answer your Michael Jackson question, but all right, just go ahead. It's all right. Go ahead. Be off topic. I don't care. I'm gonna continue to run my mouth. As a Marine, like I said, all that was imprinted into my mind was the fact that you have to be selfless. You have to be unselfish. And we have no idea what that means. That's why we have philosophers like Ayn Rand to come in and declare what it truly means to be selfish, to have a moral backbone, to have a sense of certainty about your own life. Because you only get one. There's no do-overs once you're dead that we can figure out, especially if you're cremated. And that's the thing that gets in my mind is when people say like, "Oh, you can travel back in time." Okay, you can be your own grandfather or something like that, or some weird stuff like that. You can't. Well, you go through a wormhole and you come out as your grandfather, some silly sense like that. But you only get one. You have one mind. You have one life. There's a lot of oneness that goes on. We were born on one planet so far. All right, here it is. Rick James, do you believe in any way, shape, or form that the 11th of September, he didn't say it, but I'm going to inject it, 2001, was at all planned by the powers that be? Give your reasons or why not, why or why not. Had nothing to do, well, what powers that be? Of course, it had to be some powers that be. Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda were the powers that be. If you're talking about American powers that be, are you talking about allies? Are you talking about some kind of global conspiracy? It was all Al Qaeda, and I would say and imagine I haven't done all the research, but I would imagine it's financial help from Iran or in Saudi Arabia. But nobody wants to talk about that. That's very Okay, the U.S. No, of course not. They're not competent enough. They wouldn't have enough competence to figure out something like that. This government is too basket case of being politicians to even conceive of something as intricate and planned out as September 11th, 2001, and as devastating as it was. They wouldn't have had the chops, and they only had enough to appease. They had enough to appease. You can only call it enduring freedom. It was initially called an infinite justice. That was the war against Afghanistan. It was the operation called Infinite Justice, but that was too close to being a part of Islam, and they use infinite justice. So we have to change the title to help them, to appease them. So it's better for them. It's easier for their minds. We have to change it for ourselves. Same thing in Iraq. Operation Iraqi Freedom, not Operation American Freedom. No. That makes too much sense. That's too much like right. That's not okay. You got to make it Iraqi freedom. We're freeing the Iraqis, not And if we had to go to Iraq, I'm not even saying that we had to go to Iraq necessarily. We could have gone to Iran and did much better job by destroying any components or any sites that have any kind of dealings with creating nuclear weapons. Could have been destroyed, and we would have had a better placement in America in history, in our own lives. Selfishly, we would be happier, we would be more safe if we had done that, but we didn't. So maybe one day, maybe they'll get enough gumption and say, you know what, let's just bomb Iran. Come on, let's not even play before somebody else gets hurt. Seriously, I'm playing, but I'm like, what do you do? Like, it's so simple. It's like Iran. It's right there. Who funded it? Who funded Hamas? Iran. What do you? It's not even a game. It's not. It's obvious. It's glaring. It's blaring you. It's glaringly obvious, or should be. Sadly, not to Bush or Obama or Trump or Biden. They didn't have a clue. Especially with the war in Afghanistan. The war in Iraq actually ended in 2011, but people were still there. We got rid of ISIS, but like I said, they're like whack-a-moles too. Organizations that harbor not only terrorism but are just war makers. Okay, here we go. This is special. What about how the towers fell? Physics shows that it was impossible for it to fall as much. There were bombs in the building. I would love to see your statistics on that. I know that an engineer, Dr. Jerome Brook, has facts and figures, and actually he just has common sense. All you have to have is common sense. Jet fuel burning at such a high intensity against steel will melt that steel. That's a fact. There's no question. There's no equivocating. There's no doubts about that. That's a fact. The high intensity heat produced by the jet fuel and being burned caused the towers to crumble. Rick James says, I have a lifelong friend who worked for the government at the time, and he did tell me that he was in on it. Well, give me specifics. Give me exact people. Who was it? Tom DeLay, George Bush, Dick, Dick Cheney, um, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, who else? He's not here anymore. What's his name? Oh my god. I have to look it up because I hate that. I hate trying to remember somebody's name. Ronald Rumsfeld. Ronald Rumsfeld. Give me facts and figures, sir. That's all I'm asking. Let me know. Greg S has jokes. I'm not even going to repeat it. But I'm holding steady. 4 viewers, 4 likes. I'm liking this. I haven't got any money, but I'm not even asking for a whole lot of money in this broadcast. This is a special broadcast. If you feel like you're giving me money, feel free. I know I have 2 allegedly broke bums in here right now, Rick James and Greg S. They have some kind of chemistry together. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, so doesn't make a big difference to me. It's not that serious. Doesn't make a difference to me because I know for the facts. I know that anybody can say anything they want. It doesn't make a difference. I know what's real. The towers fell because of the intense heat. The intense heat that crumbled and melted the steel. That's what happened. That goes back to railroads. That's how Sherman ties were made. They heated the railroads, and they tore them up into different ties, and that's how the Confederacy couldn't get their munitions and their food and their clothing and their other amenities. All right, Rick James says, for his safety, I cannot reveal any. Of course not. Of course, yeah, for his safety, of course you can. But just say Jimmy Hasselhoff or something. Just give me. I don't. You have to give me his real name, but I know his position for government at the time. All right, that's great. Just say his name is David Halsey or something. I don't know. Just make up a name. I don't care. I don't really like animated movies. I like cartoons and I like animation, like up to about 13, 14. Then I started getting into fake news, which was the Daily Show. Old people like me call that used to be fake news. The Daily Show and the Colbert Report. Then I started listening to Troy Star Terrain, and then I started to listen to more Yaron Brook and everything like that. Elan Journo and Ankar Gate. That's what I knew. Okay, his name is RuPaul. Great. Okay, great job, Greg. Great job. I'm sure his name is really RuPaul. That's what I'm saying for Rick James to say. Say his name is RuPaul. Say he did this and that in the government, and he has the know-how and the inside scoop on how the towers fell. There's no equivocating on that, though. You don't have to even argue that. There's no argument. Our government, seriously? George W. Bush, Biden, Obama, Trump, even Clinton. Clinton at least had the decency to get some head and make a surplus of the country when he left. At least. God damn. So that's just basically where I am right now. I'm in a good space. I want people to know about the bombing of Hiroshima. And tomorrow's an off year. It's only 41 years. So it's like, it's not 40. It's not 50. 50 years, maybe, yeah. So it's going to take maybe 5 years. Maybe on the 45th anniversary, people will care. But people's not going to care about 41 years. Only a few Marines, select few Marines that were actually there during that time period, or even there at those barracks that survived. They're going to care next year. People aren't going to care though. obviously people hardly even care about the 40th. But I saw an NBC clip. They did a profile of 3 Marine veterans, and that was pretty. That was pretty moving. I thought that was very Tupac and nobody else care. Height, you're crazy, my friend. Like I said, I'm not looking for money, but if you feel like advancing your 50 club, positioning, do what you got to do. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm not pushing it for today because this is a day of remembrance. This is a day of I try to down a little, try to do the black cap with the Marine Corps. Yeah, yeah. So I'm just saying, this is just what is. Are you saying that there's no connection, or what are you saying? I don't know what that. I hate emojis. Height. I don't know. You gotta say words for me. I'm too stupid. I don't know that. I don't know what the emojis mean. You gotta fill me in on what you mean. Height. I don't know what that emoji means. Is it buffering? Is it not coming in clear? Is it breaking up? I don't know what you mean. So that TY for your service. You can't even say thank you. Can you even say TY Ty for your service? Well, thank you, Greg, for being a alleged broke ass bum nigga that has probably $100,000 in the bank. Probably rolls around in a Honda Accord 2024 with BBS rims on it. So I'm not really worried about what you're saying, my friend. Not worried. Not worried. I know. I know. I've been saying this since the beginning. I said allegedly 2 broke ass niggas. You probably got a lot of money. You probably at least have you got 6 figures. I'm guessing at least 6 figures. You're just not, giving me the respect that I deserve, like so many others have. Spirit Smooth Tunes, J Tone, Chelsea with her glasses on, Height, Baja Jackson. No, those are people that are real. You're not a real nigga. You're not real because I know you have a lot of money, but you're not trying to advance me that. Okay, that's definitely racism. I'm not going to share even what you said. And I'm sure it's probably not true. You're probably just a broke bum nigger with money. I mean, you're broke in the sense of your spirit and your mind. You're broke mentally. You're broke intellectually. You're intellectually bankrupt. But I got 7% percentage points to go. Then I have to go. I'm out of here. Trying to get. I've been doing a weight loss plan. Trying to get to 190, 180 by mid-November. See if that's possible. I think it is. So I want to be ready for Thanksgiving dinner. Now I'm eating in. Now I'm eating because I haven't eaten in the past almost 24 hours. So I'm trying to get my weight down because look at this chin and neck thing is really getting on my nerves, and these these jaws starting to get on my nerves too. And my belly, oh my god, my belly is crazy. Want me to order you some Grubhub, sir? No thanks. I'm good. You wouldn't know what to order from Grubhub from me anyway, and your bill would be in the thousands of dollars wherever you are. I'm in Delaware. Yeah, get him get Height a seafood boil. He earned it. He earned every seafood boil he ever had. Get Height definitely a Rick James. Give him that seafood boil. So I just want to say this day is very solemn and serious. It is something that I, you know, want everybody to know about and to remember and reflect on. Like the Jews do so well with remembering. They forgive, but they never forget. They always remember. They always remember. They remember the Holocaust. The Holocaust, their way of remembering is that everybody in the entire country of Israel gets out of, if they're wherever they are, if they're in their cars, they stop and a standstill and get out and stand and wait till the blaring sirens stop. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Height is asking me Emily Radikowski or Anna de Armas Scott. So I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by either or? What do you mean, sir? Be specific. To do what with or have some kind of relationship with? What are you saying? And I'm not even seeing. I see Radajowski. I see Jakowski. Ratajkowski. Emily Ratajkowski. Is that what you meant? And I don't know what you're saying, or either or. What do you mean? Yes, that's what I mean. Okay. So what do you mean though, Heidi? What do you mean in terms of what? In terms of girlfriend being married to, smashing out? What are you saying? Either or. What are you saying? Just give me a little bit of information. For the slow niggas like myself and Greg Ass and Rick James. We're slow niggas. We don't understand. I'll wait, Height. I'll wait for you, sir. Okay. To go to have an ice cream cone with. Well, I see this one. She's a little younger. She has beautiful lips. But let me see. She's on the market too. Let me see. She's not. Let me see. Broken up. She filed for divorce. Okay, so I can definitely get with one of them for ice cream, and I think that'd be fine. The one I would probably choose right now would be Emily Ratajkowski, because I think she's Polish, and I love Polish women. Yeah, so yeah, I'll go with Emily to get some ice cream. I don't even know if that's secretive talk. I don't know if that's code. Why Polish women are the truth. They're completely white. They're not like Italians. They're not like niggas with straight hair. They're completely when you talk about white, that's white. That's like Russian white. That's like French white, or English white, Scottish white, Irish white, super white, just white. Well, I don't know if she is a small hat. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to use a small hat. Let's just say she's Jewish. I can say Jewish. I'm not. My money is tied up with you guys. This channel is not monetized, not yet. Anyway, it may not be. Not self-hatred. It's self-love. I'm a black man who loves white women. I love white women. Love me some white women. Love me some black women. Love me some Hispanic women. I've dated many types of women in the past. Dark skinned, light skinned, Asian, and white women. Who said that? You're a United Nations dater. That's funny, Hype. That was funny. That was good. I needed that laugh because today is just so heavy. It's just it's a heavy day. It's time to tell people what happened. You're not going to learn it in school. Nobody's going to talk about it in school unless you're in college and you're in a geopolitical, you're a political science major or something like that. You're not going to know about it. Let me look up. What is Vindaloo? Vindaloo. Oh, curry. Yo, you need some Vindaloo in your life. That's funny. Because Rick James said he had every flavor except India, and then Height said you need some Vindaloo in your life. That's funny. I was close to it. She's a friend of the family. She's not really, I can't call her. She was my prom date, but that's about it. That's as close as it got. We didn't go anything further than that. And we're friends. She's a friend of the family, like I said. Indian, very very beautiful young lady. Very attractive. But I didn't do nothing with her. I didn't do nothing with her beyond taking her as my prom date. That was the key to that. That was that kept the doors open. That kept my mind clear, keep my mind clean. That's how I do things. But hey, it's been real. Thank you very much for tuning in, Rick James, Greg S, Height. I appreciate you for coming in this live. It's one of my greatest lives, I think, in my personal opinion. But to all those service members, all the people that were killed that day, 40 years ago today, I salute you. I honor you. I say you're a great example of what it means to be an American and a service member. And I definitely know that even though there is no heaven or hell, you made your best lives to be heaven in a place that was very hellish, and you still are to be remembered forever and ever. Thank you very much. Take care. 17.